IS for instruments. This is how I worked out how to do my instrument panel. I got some packaging and I used a hole punch to punch the holes, and that's how I got the scale of my instrument panel. Once I did that, I sanded it and worked out exactly where to punch the holes, and then I undercoated it with white like this. Once I've measured it out and cut the holes, what we do is we paint everything white, paint the whole thing white, and sand it off a couple of times. Paint and sand until it becomes good and dense. Now, what I thought I'd do was, to make a good instrument panel, I'd do it in 3 layers. That means to say I've got that one, I have a back layer to put the instruments on, and I have a glass layer to show the cockpit, so I'll give you an idea of how that goes over here. So there's the one that's got the instruments on it. Draw those on in black, that gets stuck over the top, and then you get a glass layer. I can show you, here's one we did earlier. Show the back of the panel. This is very fragile now, I've been so busy with it. Now there's the back of the panel, and you can see how it's been made up out of pieces. I've punched the holes in, I've reinforced them in sections, I've sanded it, and I've painted them white. In some areas with a needle, and there's the front of the panel as it looks now. Okay. Painted a wood grain pattern on it. Made some switches. I made the carburetor heat knob over here. Oh dear, that's not good. Let's just put it down maybe. I'm really proud of this. This is going so nicely. Okay, so I've got the carburetor heat knob. I've got the markings on top of the instrument faces. We've got the ball and race to show if you're flying straight and level. You've got your on-off switch for magnetos, and I'm not sure about that. I'll figure that out in a minute. I think it could be fuel pump. Not sure. Screws on the side of the dashboard. Now this is a sandwich construction, so what happens is it goes up in 3 layers. I'll show you. Here are the instruments painted separately. Used it reference for those. Here's the glass faces for the instruments. See that? It's weird, isn't it, seeing that? And then the instrument panel goes over the top, so it's a sandwich construction. Now this doesn't look right until you get it right in the right spot, and you can see the instrument faces. So that's just about ready. Look at that, isn't that cool? Like, even with the instrument faces. So what I might do is get one of them to reflect just a little. It's like being in your own aircraft, isn't it? So there you go. You're ready to fly. Check your RPM, oil pressure. That's how small it is. That's all I've got to do. I've just got to glue those together, and I'll do that in just a moment. I'll show you how it goes. If I lift it up, I can show you some of the detail. It's a carburetor heat. The silver bits that you can see, they're just pieces of masking tape, or pieces of sellotape painted with aluminium paint and then cut out into the correct size. It's very proud of that. It's really looking good. So eyes for instruments. There's not much there, is it? Not much more than a car, really. Considering you could be flying up to 10,000 feet, the altimeter reads up to 10,000 feet. Altimeter there. What have we got there? So terrific. Now, so I've got this piece of acetate, see that? And that's going to go behind the instrument section. I have to be very careful here because if I muff it, basically I'll blur all the acetate. So I need a nice clean. I shouldn't get my fingers on it either. So first of all I'm going to do this. I'm just going to make sure if I put too much glue on it, what will happen is it will squish out into the clear area and make a big mess of it. So I'm going to have to be judicious, which means go carefully and use the correct amount. Glue is always a bit of a hassle because it's hard to control the speed at which it comes out. So it's very gentle little spots, not a big rush of just little spots. I've got to make sure it doesn't spread too far either. I need enough glue to make sure that it doesn't bulge up. Yes, I can understand this. There's something about me which is reluctant to finish it. In a way, because it takes so long doing all these bits that when it's finally there and the thing's about to be finished, something I have a strange reluctance to put those last pieces together. It's very peculiar. I don't understand it because I need to get on to the next thing. It's just enjoying the pieces. I think I enjoy the relationship of the pieces. It's lovely. Love things that are handmade. So that's spreading the glue out so that it won't do anything weird. Let's just add a little bit where I need it. A little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, so that's that. Now, it needs some pressure on it, otherwise what happens is you get sort of like, I can warp the two objects. It'll be nice and flat. That turned out well. Next bit's difficult. Now check this out, this is so much fun, look at that. That's cool. Don't you reckon I reckon that's so cool. Very rewarding piece. Okay. It gets into a weird area here, look at this. So what you try and do is make things clean. I've used a clamp as a clamp, I've just used a piece of tape there. That's pretty well dry now. I know how we're going to do this. What I'll do is I'll work out what the exact position is. Then I'll mark it. Okay, so I'm not worried about everything being bigger here. I'm just going to cut it down when I've got the two things together. It's pretty good. Same thing again. Little spots of glue, not too much. I can't go back basically if this glue goes over this detail because it's all hand painted. I should have done it like a transfer. I think if I thought about it, I could have done it much bigger in black and white and then just had it photocopied down. It would have worked better, would have got better detail. Okay, this is tricky now. I can't let it slide. I can't put it down and let it slide. Basically, it's got to go down and that's it. Because of the nature of the glue, there's no slide in this glue. It just sticks, especially with these painted surfaces on acetate. I don't know why. Oh. Tricky. I'm trying to position it because that's really good. Up a bit. Gyroscope compass. Oh, that's so neat. Voila. Dry for a moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick both bits up. And I need the scissors. It's just like cutting your nails. Except it's taken me about an hour to do each bit of these nails. So I'm going to be very careful. Oh, isn't that cute? Scratched a bit there. It's no good. I'm going to replace that. Just like cutting your nails, isn't that great? I might have to use a knife on that last bit. Now remember that the black bit is the same density as the brown bit, so I can't really hack into it because it'll cut through the brown just as well as it cuts through the black. So I angle the knife backwards a bit. See the angle? And so I cut black before I cut brown. Beautiful material. I love working with this stuff. It's so I don't know, formable. There you go. Oh, let me have a look. One more cut. Let's have a look at the back of it. Pretty innocuous, isn't it? But have a look at that. Isn't that neat?